Like I said before, the objective of this carpentry construction class is to teach you how to build a house without actually building a house. We can do that in different ways, right? We did some concrete work. We didn't do a concrete foundation, but we made a concrete topped table. We could make a scale model of our house out of like popsicle sticks. We could make a CAD model on the computer. We could get some real hands-on experience on putting on framing and hammering and nailing and putting on shingles and putting on siding by building the sheds. So we are going to learn how to build a house. And the first step is what we call architectural plans or building plans or construction prints, or maybe you've heard the term blueprints before. So what I've got here is I've got a set of plans on how to build the house, and I'm just going to flip through real quick. It's not a huge book, but we've got a picture of the house, some different other angles of the house. Don't quite know what this is yet. We'll talk about it in a minute. Maybe we can recognize this, right? Here's the garage, there's the study, there's a toilet. I can see the toilet, a sink. Okay, so we got some more views or plans. This happens to be the first floor. And then there's the second floor where you have your bedrooms upstairs. And it goes on, so all kinds of different views. We'll talk more about these in a minute. Got a bunch of notes on here. All right, and that's the last page. So this is pretty much what you need to build your house. These, like I said, architectural plans, building plans, construction plans, blueprints, they are the instructions on how to build the house. All right, and not only are they instructions, but it's a legal document. Think of it as a contract, right? So if you're a homeowner and you want to have a house built for you, if you're going to be the owner, you're going to hire an architect and a carpenter or a construction company, and they're going to build you exactly what's in this piece of paper, on these pieces of paper. If they don't, they're in breach of contract, meaning they didn't do what you agreed upon. All right, so this is a legal document. So it's got lots of different names. Like I said, again, architectural plans, building plans, construction prints, blueprints. We're really familiar with that term blueprint, right? We use that term quite a bit. I think you've heard that before. But the plans I'm showing you right here are black and white. But let me show you what blueprints and why we do call them blueprints. All right, so here we go. These are blueprints. So you can see, right? That's a house, that's a building, and I'm hoping you can see with my camera that we have a blue background and we've got white lines. All right, and this big set of drawings, it's kind of all rolled up here. These are the instructions on how to build a house, and I just want to point this out. Check this out. All right, so these are the instructions to build a house or a residence for Mr. Charles Garris to be erected in Kings Park, Long Island. All right, look at the date, May 25th, 1936. So blueprints haven't been around in a long time. And this is the way construction prints used to look. They used to be a blue paper with white lines and lettering, and you can tell from the date this was a long time ago. This was before we had photocopiers and laser printers and things like that. This was a photographic process. So we used to draw the drawings out and then used to have to make copies of them, and it was kind of like this photographic process. So keep in mind, that's where the term blueprint comes from, is that the paper actually used to be blue. All right, so now we've got our black and white copy here, and this is a house that is kind of built around the corner. It's just a nice little example of what I've got. And this was built in Niskayuna, but we left off saying that these could be architectural plans. All right, so I'm going to say, well, who makes these plans? Answer that. Who makes the plans? Well, an architect designs the house. They're really the brains of the operation. They're saying, you know, the house is going to be this big, and and engineers would figure out how to make the house stand up. All right, but the person who actually makes this piece of paper, that actually draws it out, and I'm saying draw it out, it was drawn on a computer. The person sitting at a computer is a drafter. So the architect or engineer designs it maybe in their head. They sketch some things out on a napkin, a piece of paper, and then they hand that piece of paper or napkin off to a drafter who sits down at a computer and actually makes these drawings. And the reason I want to bring this up is that the architect and the engineer, right, that takes at least 4 years of college. So I'm going to say 4+ years of college to be an architect or an engineer. The architect or engineer is in charge of the building. You know, like I said, this is a legal contract. They have to sign, or pretty much what we call stamping the drawings. They stamp the drawing and then they sign their name to it, saying that, yes, the building is going to be safe for occupants. And a drafter, if you've ever taken a CAD class here, you know, drafters work on CAD. And you can actually go to Hudson Valley just for 1 year. They have a certificate program, and you can be like a certified drafter. And then they also have 2-year degrees, and you can go on from there. But there's lots of drafting work around, and I think it's a good occupation for somebody if you've taken a CAD class and you like drawing stuff on the computer. You know, it's something to think about, and it doesn't take much money or time to get you started in Hudson Valley. All right, so then who uses the plans? We know that it's a contract. The homeowner is contracting with this construction company to build them this house. And these are the instructions on how to build that house. But who else would use these? One of the first steps is you actually have to bring these plans to the town. The planning department, the building department, they're going to look at this and they're going to make sure that the house meets our building codes and it's safe for occupants. All right, and then the next person to use the plans would probably be the mason, the person who's going to make the concrete foundation. And then the carpenter would get a copy, and the carpenter would go ahead and frame up the whole house and build the house the way it was supposed to. And then I'll just point out this, if I can find it. Electricians might use this. A lot of times on floor plans you'll see where the wall switches are going to be, where the outlets are going to be. I know that symbol right there is a smoke detector, smoke detector, smoke detector. All right, so the electrician would know that, oh, I need to wire a smoke detector right there. Plumbers, right? There's the toilet, there's a sink, there's a toilet, there's a bathtub and another bathtub, another sink. So the plumber would look at these plans to know where all their plumbing has to go. And there's just all kinds of people that use the plans. And then one of the last things you do in a house is, right, you're going to paint the walls. Paint the walls and put the carpet down. Well, that is also in these instructions. What color do you want the walls to be? What type of paint do you want on the walls? What kind of floor do you want in the bathroom? Is it going to be vinyl or ceramic or hardwood? And in the bedroom, is it going to be carpet? So all that information is on the drawings so that people know exactly what they're getting. All right, so we know who makes them, we know who uses them, and now you should be asking yourself, how do you get a whole huge house shrunk down onto this little piece of paper, right? Well, the term is scale. We need to scale this thing down. So we're going to take this house and shrink it down so it fits on a piece of paper. So a scale is a mathematical proportion comparing the real house when it's built to how it's drawn. Okay, and scale. And if I could show you this, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to read that or not. It says right there, scale. The scale is 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. So what they're telling you, if you measured 1/8 of an inch on this right here, if we took a ruler and measured that, well, when you go to build it, that's really supposed to be a foot. So 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. And I want to show you a tool that architects use and that draftsmen use and that carpenters use. I always carried one of these in my toolbox. Right? We might call it a ruler, but it's not. It's an architect scale. Okay, and so right here, there's 0 and there's 1 inch and 2 inches and 3 inches and 4 inches, just like any old ruler that we've used before. But then they've got these other sections, and let me just show you this one. Right? We said that this drawing here is 1/8 of an inch equals a foot. So what they're telling you now is that you can see 1/8. They're saying from there to there, that distance between my thumbs is 1/8 of an inch, and that equals 1 foot on this drawing. So if I want to start measuring something, I would start at the 0, and I would count the smaller numbers. All right, I'd count out the smaller ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that right there, from my thumb to my thumb, that represents 12 feet. If I had to know how many inches there are supposed to be, I could count up over here. So normally we'd everybody get an architect scale and we'd measure some drawings and figure out how to use it. But this year, only thing you need to know that this is an architect scale, and it's used to compare that mathematical proportion or ratio between what's on the piece of paper and what size it's going to be in real life. All right, and so it's got lots of different views, different pictures of the house. Right here, this right here is what we call an elevation. So anytime you're looking like vertically at the side of the building, okay, that's called an elevation. So this is an elevation view. This happens to be the front elevation. So we're looking at, a side of the building. It happens to be the front side of the building. And you can see what kind of information it's got on here. Not a whole lot of information for you. 5.5 inch vinyl frieze, 5-inch vinyl corner, 14-inch vinyl shutters, aluminum ridge vent. So not a whole huge amount of information, but it gives you a nice picture of what this thing's supposed to look like. So that was our front elevation. Oh, there's the left side of the house, there's the right side of the house, and there is the rear or the back elevation. So you can see these are even plainer. They don't really show much information at all. So those are elevations. So when you're looking like at a vertical, when you're looking vertically at the building, you have elevations. So these were all exterior elevations. Let me see if I can find an interior elevation. So again, I'm going to roll this out. Just a big piece of paper. Sorry, I don't have room. But right there's the side or the west elevation. You can see the scale right here is 1/4 inch equals a foot. Let me show you an interior elevation. So an interior elevation, there it is. That is the kitchen cabinets. So that's called the metal kitchen cabinets. That's how old this thing is. So it shows the height, right? The vertical heights. So I think of elevation, I think of a mountain, right? How do we measure mountains? We measure the elevation of the mountain. This right here is an elevation of the fireplace. So it kind of gives you a nice picture of what the fireplace is going to look like, and maybe the doors on either side when it's finished. Okay, so that is an elevation when we're measuring vertically, when we look at the side of the building or structure. So we've got elevations. So let's go ahead and just flip through the paper here, and I'm going to come to this right here. So this is what we call a plan. So before we had an elevation, now we have a plan. So a plan is when we're looking down on anything. If we're looking down on anything, it's called a plan. This one right here is called, I'll just zoom out here, all right? It's called the first floor plan. We're looking down on the first floor, right? There's the garage. This is how you enter. There's the stairs. Ooh, this is interesting. Here's the stairs are going up, but here the stairs are going down. So there's something about floor plans, is we're looking down on the building, but we're looking about 4 feet off the floor. So think about this. In this situation, we're looking down, so we can see this first couple stairs going up, but then the rest of them kind of disappear over our head, so we can't see those anymore. But if we had X-ray vision, we could see these are the stairs from the door from the kitchen that go down into the basement. So a lot of times you see like a break here is because floor plans are usually about 4.5 feet off the ground. I'm going to give you one more example here in the kitchen. Right? We're looking down from about maybe belly height, so we'd see the kitchen countertop here. This is the countertop, but look at this dotted line. This dotted line right here represents the kitchen cabinets, the overhead cabinets that are really above your belly. They're really above your head. We want to show them, but we're really not seeing them when we look straight down. So we show them with what we call a hidden line, because they really don't see them in this view. They're really above your head. All right. So big picture, we got plans. We're looking down on the first floor, looking down on the second floor, when I first showed you this is looking down in the basement, down in the foundation. So we've got foundation plans, we have first floor plans, we have second floor plans, all right, and then we have something called plot plans. Okay, let me show you this. So this is our textbook. So this is looking down on the house. This is the outline of the house. There's the driveway, the walkway, there's a tree, there's a tree, there's a tree. So these are our property lines. So this is what we call a plot plan. So we've got different kind of plans. Plot plans, foundation plans, first floor plans, second floor plans, and there's probably a roof framing plan, you name it, but keep in mind a plan is when you're looking down at the structure. All right, now we got something else. So we got, let's see if we can find, not the best example. If you look right here, it says A, A6, B, A6A. I'm going to go to A6. This is page A6, and so those instructions were saying, let's look here. So this thing is called a section. So before and you can see we're measuring the vertical height of the building. Before we called it an elevation. When we were on the outside looking at the outside, it was called an elevation. Let me just tell you what a section view is. And I have a different picture I want to show you here. So here's our house. A section is this imaginary cutting through the building, kind of pulling the building apart and looking to see on the inside on how that thing is built. Okay, so this is what we call a section view. Okay, so it's a vertical slice through the building. So we've got a section here. This is what we call the building section. There's another building section for a different part. And these little bubbles refer back to that floor plan we were talking about. Here's another section. All right, and the section view shows you a lot of different information. It shows you what type of board to use. It says to use a 2x10. what size insulation and stuff you use. So these are section views. Sections are when you do a vertical slice through the building. Now, the next part is what we call a schedule. Let's find a schedule. Here we go. So a schedule is not a picture, right? This is a picture, right? It tells, before we're talking about this is a legal document, right? Is a legal contract, but it doesn't have a lot of words in it. It's got pictures. So we always said that, or the saying is that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so instead of writing out a description on how big and where the toilet should be, we just show you a picture. Okay? So this part is not a picture. It's called a schedule. It's a window schedule. And here we have a door schedule. So a schedule is a chart that it's got information on specific items in the house. So we'll look here. Well, here's the master bedroom. And this is a symbol for a window. And there's a symbol for a window. And there's a symbol for a window. And you can see it's got this thing next to it, H, H, and H. So let's go over here and look at H. Okay. So this is the window schedule. It says they're going to be Anderson 200 series windows. Right? There's the symbol. It turns out we need 9 of them. So the builder better order 9 windows. All right, and when he orders them, that's the model number. That's the rough opening size, which we'll talk about at some point. All right, and that's the area of glass and the area of ventilation. All right, so the schedule just tells you like what things to purchase maybe. Here are the doors. These are all the different doors in the house. What kind of doors they're supposed to be. I want to show you something else. Again, this is out of the textbook. You have lots of these charts. Okay, again, this is a schedule. It's a chart with specific things in it. It's an interior finish schedule. And so we could look at the dining room. The dining room is going to get hardwood floors. The kitchen would get a tile floor. The walls in the kitchen are going to get, well, paper. Must be wallpaper. In the family room, it's going to get paint. And this is kind of a generic one, but a lot of schedules will tell you what color the paint is supposed to be. It'll tell you what wallpaper it's supposed to be. It'll tell you what carpet, right? So it looks like the utility room is getting vinyl flooring. It'll tell you what vinyl floor covering to get. So that is a schedule. It's a chart that gives specific information about different areas of the structure. So next thing is we always have notes. This here is a general framing note. I said a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, at some point we still need to use some words. I'm not going to read this to you just yet. I will go and show you. Even though we use lots of pictures, there are also lots of words included. Okay, so like I said, because this is a legal document. So for instance, I will read something out to you, not that you can see it. All construction is to comply to New York State residential and local codes. All electrical work is to comply to the National Electric Code. Let's pick out something different. All materials and equipment supplied shall be installed as per the manufacturer's specification, as per local codes and requirements. All right, so that does sound kind of legal. All right, so that right there is our introduction to blueprints or building plans, building prints. All right, so you will get your own set of blueprints or building plans for what we call the cozy cottage. That's our little house model that we build here in class. And so you're going to take the prints that I give you, and somehow we're going to make this little cozy cottage. But at home you might make it in SketchUp, or if you're in class here, you're going to make what we call the popsicle stick house. All right, good luck.